Welcome to Conversations with K and J. We're your hosts, Kayla and Janae.
In here, we talk about love, life,
and lessons learned. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Daily Doses of Conversations with Kayla
and Janae.
In today's energy, we are looking into It's Worth the Wait. Why is it that humans look for instant gratification? Patience truly is a virtue. And yes, usually good things are worth the wait. But there's this desire that burns at the bottom of our hearts to want to know things right away. Especially in love, we have a hard time waiting. Someone piques our interest and our heart and mind wants to know that person deeply right away. But love isn't something to be rushed. Each moment is to be savored along the way. It is the same with life. Let us savor each moment as it unfolds. What you think?
Basically what it says, that good things takes time. If something comes easy, you may haven't looked at all the details of it all.
Right. So Temperance came out with basically the overall energy. And I feel as though this is bringing in a balance of understanding for yourself so that you can temper your emotions if you feel imbalanced from time to time or feel like you want to be in this place of rushing things or wishing that things were different. The Eight of Pentacles is the first card out here, and this talks about consistency. This is the energy of seeing things through and not giving up on what you've started. But I was looking at all of the cards that came out to try to figure out exactly what this is saying, and I feel like the devil energy being present in this spread speaks on a lot of hurt that may be arising at this time, or memories of things that hurt you. Maybe this stage of letting go and releasing is something that causes you pain. But ultimately, it's going to benefit you in the long run, right? And so the Eight of Pentacles with the Eight of Cups is the consistency of you moving forward and walking away from things and people that are no longer serving you in a healthy sense. And that may be something that's kind of keeping you stuck in a sense, because on Patreon we spoke about not having the physical proof that you need in order to truly free yourself from something that now energetically it's completed, it's closed out. And so it's like lingering on when you are being forced into a new cycle that is requiring you to have much more balance than you've been clinging on to. I feel like you've been making it through, you've been having growth and healing, but it's like holding on for dear life at times. And so when you look into this Three of Swords energy, it's about really looking at what could be hurting or affecting you on a mental level. Like, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings around what you see, so that you can find more balance for yourself?
Yeah. I think what I got out of everything you just said was that, like, are we sitting there waiting for like concrete proof to validate why we moved on from something, instead of just knowing in our gut that it was, whether it didn't have to be something with hard truth, but a feeling that you had that it was time to move on? Yeah. I don't know if I explained it all right. But
No, that's it.
Did you get what I'm saying? Like, we talked about it like in a love situation. Mm-hmm. When you already have the feeling that a relationship is over and you need to move on, but you also looking for like some proof or validation that this person is cheating or doing you wrong.
Yeah. So, no, that's exactly what
you were saying.
What I was saying. And I think that what initially confused me about the message was the fact that our card said it's worth the wait. But the wait is different in this circumstance. Like, it's not the wait that we've been in to try to find the validation that we've been seeking from this situation or whatever it is that you've been going through, but it's worth the wait of betting on yourself and the guidance that you've gotten within. Because you may not be able to see things in the moment that lie ahead. And that's why I brought up Patreon yesterday, because we went through an example that I physically lived through where I was told to leave a certain situation at a point in my life that didn't end up playing out till a few years later, where I was able to realize why God was telling me to remove myself from that environment or those people. And that is really the true definition of you walking through darkness and walking through the unknown, because you're not going to have all of the answers that you wish you would have in that moment to feel 100% confident to move forward. But this is the time where you really have to start relying on yourself. And again, it's not to say that this is not going to hurt you or has not been hurting you or affecting you. But it's really making a decision if you want to continue sitting in that hurt and being in this loop of it, or going through it and moving on.
Right. In a love sense, I think it's the period of where you want an answer from somebody, like from that partner, like you left them and then you looking for the why. And then that shit is tormenting you because you still just trying to play over in your head why, and you looking for a response, but that's something that may never come, and then you'll understand that you never needed that in the first place.
Right.
You don't need the response.
You don't need it. Because if we were to continue from what you just said, of staying in that, thinking that you need it, the devil is here playing on energy to try to keep you connected and stuck to something on a trauma bond, you know? So all it takes is being stuck in a situation too long where you're trying to really figure out the other person or the other side of the situation, where that person or situation can come in, manipulate you, and put in an illusion to make you feel like they're going through it too, or they were hurt too, or they were affected too. And then that's when people like us end up getting conflicted, because we're like, oh, well, I don't know. You start considering things that really shouldn't even be a factor at the end of the day. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, you start understanding their choices more than understanding your
Your
own.
own.
You start taking the pros and cons list and then wanting to put facts next to each con to why, why it happened that way.
Right. So on top of this Eight of Pentacles energy, we have the Five of Wands. And I don't know why I thought that was the Eight of Wands at first. But the Five of Wands is going to be your insecurities. It's your doubts. It's your worries. There is an energy present. I don't know who it is. I don't know what it is. But there's something energetically within your life right now that's trying to make you give up, or feel like what you've been doing or the progress that you've made has not been the right thing. It's not even that it's not enough. It's just like, maybe I've just been putting my energy into the wrong direction or into thinking the wrong thing. But again, you have to really come back to reality within yourself and look at what you've gone through and made it through by trusting yourself in the guidance that God has put within you. When you start to feel imbalanced, when you start to question yourself or your reality, that's what you go back to. Like, God has never led you astray thus far. So this is not the time to let your reality or people within your reality try to make you feel like you need to be seeking guidance or direction outside of you. Because it's really an energy of the devil appearing in some kind of way through some sort of connection or person who wants to come in and play on your fears. So on a surface level, this is like when we told people we were going to move to Mexico, or we were thinking about it, and then people were like, oh, are you sure? You know, it's scary out there. There's a cartel. There's this, there's that. When we had already made up in our mind, and God has showed us, like, we were meant to move and go elsewhere.
Right.
That was things that, whether it was done on purpose or people didn't know what they were doing or how they were adding on to the illusions or the insecurities, it was something that was placed in our path to make us second guess our decision. It was there to start inflicting fears and insecurities of like, well, if we do, then we could run in, like you could run into anything, anywhere. Anything could happen anywhere, at any moment, any time. But you would have wanted to go after the things that you truly desire instead of sitting in this one spot, playing it safe in a sense of not growing.
Right. You're not gaining nothing from doing nothing. Like,
Yeah.
it's worth a try. You go out and see. You fall, you get back up, and you keep on moving.
Right.
Yeah. But people like to tell you about the bad things first before, you know, they can see the brighter side of everything
Right.
to scare you.
So when we look at this 8 of Cups energy, it is connected to the Emperor. And the Emperor is about your tunnel vision. It is about keeping your focus so strongly on where you're going and where you're headed that nothing that tries to come up on the sidelines distract you from what you're moving towards. And the Emperor, of course, in a low vibration can show up in a very controlling, manipulative, like argumentative type of energy, or just like somebody who, I don't know how to explain the energy, kind of hostile. You know, like, you get my way, I'm gonna beat your ass type of energy. Like, you don't have to go in that. You don't have to be aggressive. That's what I was looking for. Aggressive within, you know, your determination to get where you're going. It is just like maneuvering through what you need to in order to keep your momentum going. And so, not to be gender specific, but the only way that I could break this down is like a man that is married and he's out with his boys and all these different women keep approaching him, but he's like not falling into temptation. So he's like consistently curving each woman and trying to just like make it through the night. I don't know why that example came up, but that's the masculine energy, where things are going to be tempting. Things are going to try to stop you through temptation, through what may have been weaknesses in the past. And that's what I'm saying. A guy out with his boys before he was married probably would have talked to all of the girls that approached him just because he could. But this man who's married and doing right, hypothetically speaking, is not in those same, was not going to fall into those same traps.
Right.
So again, your traps may not be different women, or it may not be temptation or lust in that sense, but whatever your temptations are, whatever your weaknesses are, whatever you fell victim to before in the past may start to pop up in your present to try to get you to make the same choices that you did in the past, to go backwards.
Right. But
this is, again, not giving into them in any sense. Again, it's not giving like you're going to give into it. It's giving like this energy is expecting you to be combative with it. Like the women walking up to the man, they're expecting him to be rude and be like, I'm married, like I ain't got time for you,
right,
or call you a hoe or something like that, you know? Whereas like it's just,
they expect you to be bothered by it. They expect you to like show some emotions towards it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know my example was crazy, but that was,
but no, I get it.
I'm trying to fill it out and then explain it, but that was the best way that I could.
But this man now understands that he has way more to lose.
Yes.
Right. He sees the value in what he has built. So he know that these girls out here in the streets is not his wife at home.
Right.
So he's not even going to risk it all.
Yes.
And it's kind of like a been there, done that situation. Like,
Yes. So you may have people come into your reality that want to trauma bond with you on whatever a trauma was in your past to try to keep you in your past. But this is you knowing yourself enough and trusting what God has put within you to know how to move forward by not giving into it at all. That's what it is. Okay? Because all this energy that's present that's trying to throw off your temperance is to keep you stuck in your mind. It's mind games. Somebody want to play mind games. You know, it's you putting down your foot and setting boundaries, and then someone being like, I'm going to test those boundaries to see if you really mean it, or if you're going to be confrontational because I tried it. Because I think I don't know, for some reason I just feel like, oh, the audacity, like you really thought you could do this, or you really thought you was going to come over here and say this.
right.
I'm going to let you say what you want to say. I'm going to let you do what you think you're going to do, and I'm still going to move on. Like it's finding that peace for yourself. And so even if you have to pull yourself back and slow down and maybe go a different direction than you were planning before, this is being patient with yourself and knowing that everything happens for a reason. So even if somebody tries to bring drama or confrontation to you, or even if it's not another person bringing it into your reality and you're being this to yourself mentally, it's being patient. It's finding your balance again before you start moving forward, before you start just doing things without really thinking about it. I don't know, it's just a message of like someone wants to like trap, like it's a trap ahead, and you have to be paying attention and making sure that you're not falling into the trap by falling into old ways
Right.
or old traumas. Yeah, I don't know. That's the best way I can explain it.
I get it.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll leave it there because I was trying to make it like just self-focused, but it's so much. It's so many different energies that are here. And this is just kind of confirming that you may have things pop up left to right that try to distract you or make you feel defeated. But that is just more confirmation that you are right where you need to be, and what you're seeking or what you've been working towards is right there. This is the illusion before you cross the finish line. Okay? So we love you guys. Thank you so much for vibing out with us, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.